Your photos have been in magazines such as Time and amongst others. What advice would you give to students that would hopefully want to get published in such a world-renowned magazine?
Well, I do have to give that advice to my students all the time.
Okay.
Everybody a lot of that's would seem like a lofty goal to aim for Time magazine or Newsweek or one of the international magazines. Personally, that just sort of happened incidentally. I wasn't working for any of those magazines. I tended to work for non-governmental organizations and for local Kenyan newspapers and magazines. But that happened, I happened to get published in Time because I was in Uganda photographing an AIDS story at the end of the Rwandan genocide, and there was a situation where a lot of bodies were turning up in the lake, and they were pulling the bodies out of the lake, so I was there and I took a photograph and I thought, well, this is big news, and I went to the Time magazine office in Nairobi and they ran the photo, so that was my big moment of getting in Time magazine. But I always just the advice I give my students is to try to take the kind of photographs that you're interested in. Try to study classes outside of photography in areas of your interest, and try to build up an expertise in a field that you can then photograph. And there'll always be publications for those kinds of images. Not every photojournalist, especially these days with the way journalism is changing to a more new media, convergent media. It's not the same as it used to be, where you just sort of bring your portfolio in and get an assignment and go out and shoot. It's different now. So I try to encourage my students to pick up as many skills as they can: video, audio, photography, interviewing skills. And if they happen to be in a situation where there's a newsworthy story that is worthy of an international publication, then go for it. That's what I say.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for talking with us today, David.
Oh, you're welcome. It was my pleasure. Sorry we didn't have more time, but thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And our next guest is a noted celebrity photographer and doing some innovative things in the world of photography. Welcome, Matthew Jordan Smith. With all the innovations in digital photography today, you are doing something new and exciting with film. You call the Movement Project.
Correct.
Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, with all the innovation of digital and new cameras and cameras almost doing everything for you, I had a yearning to do something that was authentic, that wasn't manipulated. You know, they had this whole thing going on in France right now about putting warning labels on pictures saying it's been digitally altered in some way. So I wanted to do something that was authentic, that felt real and organic. So I started doing this movement project where I shot models and real people and babies and families using film in this technique that I discovered.
Okay, well, let's show this technique. Let's show an example of one of them. That is...
This is the merging of two people. And if you think about a picture being in a frame, every image you see is in a box in some way, be it digital or traditional film, whatever. It's been in a box. What I've done is take the borders off. So it's thinking differently. And even what you see here is a third of the image. These images were made for exhibition, and they go much longer than what we can show on the TV monitor, but I've had a lot of fun. It's probably the most fun I've had in my life with the camera in my hand.
Wow, great. So you're doing this with film. Do you see any negative aspects with digital besides the altering that they do?
I can't say negative. I think when you have any new technology, you have to embrace it.
Okay.
It's just another tool, so you have to learn how to use that tool and use your knowledge of film to enhance it. So for me, it's been another tool.
Okay. You have had some of the world's most recognizable people in front of your camera. Do any one of them stand out for you overall? Of the
a lot of them stand out, but I think the person who excites my crew the most when we're working together is Oprah. She truly has this aura when you walk in the room, and everybody feels it. Everybody. She also has this grace, this presence, where she walks in the room, says hello to everybody in the room, my assistants, my interns, doesn't matter who it is, and she remembers their names. That's a gift.
And there
I
she
can't
is.
do that.
There, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, let's take a look at a few more.
Perfect.
You've shot. Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum. He's quite a character. That's a very fun day. That was shot for a magazine cover. We shot that in New York for New York Magazine. And we just had a great time working together and talking about things that we both connected with. And he's a ham from the camera, so it was easy for me.
Great. You recently shot Gabourey Sidibe,
Yes.
the Oscar-nominated actress from the film Precious, for a
Gabby.
spread in Essence magazine.
Correct.
Now, she hasn't had much experience in front of the camera, being a new actress.
She hasn't. She hasn't.
So would you say it's easier working with someone who hasn't had experience, or better to work with someone who's in front of the camera all the time?
Well, it's always an evolution. I think as an artist, as a photographer, you're always working on trying to get new and interesting shots. And when I have somebody who's very seasoned in front of the camera, it's easy, yes. But I like the challenge of working with somebody who's new to it, new to the game, new to getting to know themselves and being comfortable in their own skin. So it's nice to see somebody change. I started photographing Oprah 15 years ago, and I've watched her evolve. Same with Tyra, and hopefully with Gabby.
Great. Now, you were mentioning the altering before. Sometimes there is a lot of controversy with retouching images. People made to look skinnier than what they really are. What are your feelings about retouching?
I sent images in to my retoucher 2 days ago for retouching, and he sent the first pass back to me. And so I'm like, you know what, you've gone way too far. I want the skin to look like skin. I think retouching is necessary because when we look at a photograph, you're under the microscope. So I want to clean things up, but not alter them. There's a big difference. I want it cleaned up where I show the best a person can be, but I want to look like them at their best, not changed and enhanced. If you're overweight, so what? You know, I'm overweight, but you want to show them at their best, not change who they are.